85 meters down, 18 immense, staggering stories plunging directly into the heart of the earth. Over 250 feet of solid rock pressing down from above. Derinkuyu is not a simple cave network. It is an architectural masterpiece, a highly complex, inverted skyscraper capable of housing 20,000 souls comfortably for months at a time. It is a vertical labyrinth of terrifying, mind-bending complexity. Thousands of rooms, spiraling corridors, and dead ends deliberately designed to confuse and trap anyone who does not belong. But for the persecuted people of Cappadocia, it is home. It is a fully functioning metropolis operating in eternal, unwavering midnight. The air grows heavy, yet surprisingly breathable. This is the true, undeniable genius of Derinkuyu. More than 50 massive vertical ventilation shafts pierce through the underground city like giant, rocky lungs, drawing fresh oxygen from the surface all the way down to the deepest, darkest chambers. Without these shafts, 20,000 people and their animals would suffocate in a matter of hours from the toxic smoke of their own lamps and the carbon dioxide of their own breath. Water, the absolute essence of life, is drawn from deep, pristine subterranean rivers. The wells go incredibly deep, but ingeniously they do not reach the surface. This was not an engineering mistake. It was a vital, desperate defense mechanism, ensuring that an invading army above could not simply drop poison or dead animals into their water supply. As your eyes finally adjust to the dim, flickering amber light, the true, unbelievable scale of human resilience reveals itself. They have built massive communal kitchens, carving deep pits for enormous clay ovens. The heavy smoke is cleverly routed through hidden microscopic chimneys that dissipate the exhaust into the porous rock before it ever reaches the surface, leaving absolutely no visual trace for the enemy above. They have brought massive stone presses to crush grapes and make wine. Why wine? Because in the darkness, standing water can quickly turn foul and carry disease. The alcohol in the wine made it the safest liquid to drink to survive a long siege. There are vast storage rooms piled high to the ceiling with dried grain, salted meats, and preserved fruits. There are even schools, massive vaulted halls where priests continue to teach the young children in the flickering darkness, fighting to maintain a sense of humanity, a sense of civilization in a situation that is anything but normal. Here, life refuses to stop. The emotional and physical transition is immediate and shocking. Within dozens of steps, the scorching, oppressive heat of the Middle Eastern summer is completely extinguished, replaced by a damp, unnatural, bone-chilling cold that seeps into your joints. The comforting light fades from a blinding gold to a suffocating, impenetrable gray, and finally to absolute, crushing blackness. You are in the dark throat of the earth now. The descent begins down narrow, jagged, suffocatingly tight tunnels carved entirely by hand, using primitive iron and stone tools out of the soft volcanic rock. The tunnels are intentionally claustrophobic, forcing any man, friend, or heavily armed foe to crouch, to crawl, to enter single file without the physical ability to swing a sword or draw a bow. Suddenly, a massive, deafening grinding sound echoes through the subterranean labyrinth, a sound that shakes the very dust from the low stone ceiling. sound of the great millstone doors rolling into place. Massive circular boulders of solid rock weighing up to 500 kilograms each, rolling on hidden grooves to permanently block the main corridors. They can only be opened and closed from the inside. The strong men push thick, heavy wooden beams through the center hole of the stone, locking themselves inside their own massive grave. The heavy, echoing thud of the stone sealing the entrance marks the end of the world above. The daylight is gone. The connection to the surface is violently severed. There is only the underground now. Flickering, dim, ghostly light illuminates the darkness. Thousands of tiny clay lamps, fueled by pungent linseed oil and animal fat, are ignited across the cavernous halls, casting long, monstrous, dancing shadows against the rough-hewn walls. The absolute silence of the deep earth is quickly shattered by the chaotic, terrifying symphony of a desperate civilization. The panicked bleating of sheep and goats, the high-pitched crying of terrified infants, the frantic, muffled whispers of thousands of people trying to find their designated spaces in the dark. The first level, closest to the surface, is strictly reserved for the livestock. The smell is immediate, visceral, and overwhelming, a thick, heavy mixture of animal sweat, damped stone, burning oil, and raw human fear. But keeping the animals on the top floors was a masterstroke of ancient survival engineering. Their collective body heat naturally rises, acting as a bizarre organic furnace that warms the freezing human inhabitants in the residential levels below. The descent continues, deeper, deeper still, descending right into the abyss.
We have no choice, the signs are clear!
The sky. The endless burning blue stretching over the harsh, jagged peaks and strange alien rock formations of Cappadocia. Take a deep breath of the warm, dry Anatolian wind. Feel the harsh sunlight baking your skin. Memorize it, cherish it, because in a few moments you are about to leave it all behind forever. It is the turbulent 9th century, the 800s AD. The once mighty Byzantine Empire is bleeding from 1,000 cuts. Relentless, brutal Arab-Byzantine wars and devastating raids sweep across the Anatolian plains year after year. Marauding armies, brutal conquerors, and ruthless empires view this sacred land as nothing more than a bloody battlefield. For the people living in these idyllic, sun-baked valleys, the horizon is no longer a place of beauty. It is a place of absolute, paralyzing terror. A single thick plume of black smoke rises in the far distance, then another, and another. The warning fires are lit on the highest mountain peaks. The signal is clear, traveling faster than any galloping horseman. The enemy is coming. They bring fire, Damascus steel, and the heavy chains of enslavement. There is no time to build walls. There is no fortress strong enough to withstand the sheer mass of the coming storm. Panic erupts in the villages, but it is a silent, disciplined panic. Dark routine, honed by generations of trauma and survival. Families grab whatever they can physically carry. Heavy sacks of grain, massive clay amphoras of wine and oil, iron tools, and their terrified, bleating livestock. They do not flee into the mountains, where they would easily be hunted down. They do not run to the rivers. Instead, they run towards a seemingly random, jagged hole in the ground, a narrow fracture in the soft, volcanic tough rock. One by one, they disappear into the earth. Thousands of people, fathers, pregnant mothers, frail elders, and crying newborn children, carrying their entire lives on their battered backs, leaving their simple wooden homes completely empty. A ghost town on the surface. The Anatolian sun casts long, melancholic shadows across the deserted, dusty streets. The wind whistles through the doorways. From a distance, it is as if the earth has simply opened its giant mouth and swallowed 20,000 people whole. But they are not dead. Not yet. They are entering a miracle of ancient survival. They are entering Derinkuyu, the city without a sky. But surviving physically, with food and water, is only half the battle. The true, far more grueling war is fought within the fragile human mind. The total isolation of the deep earth takes a heavy, terrifying psychological toll. It is an assault on the senses. Down here, time essentially loses all meaning. There are no golden sunrises to mark the morning, no beautiful fiery sunsets to signal the end of a hard day. There is no change in the weather, no rain, no wind, no shifting seasons. Only the eternal, unchanging, claustrophobic darkness pressing against your eyeballs. Time becomes a heavy liquid, measured only by the level of oil left in your clay lamp and the gnawing, painful hunger in your stomach. Imagine being a child born in the lower levels of Derinkuyu during a painstakingly long siege, a child who has literally never felt the summer wind on their face, never seen a twinkling star or a fluffy cloud or the blue color of the sky. A child whose entire universe consists of damp walls, rock dust ceilings, and the dim, flickering orange glow of a cooking fire. To them, the stories of a vast, bright world above are nothing more than fairy tales, beautiful, unbelievable myths whispered by the elders. Claustrophobia is a constant, suffocating companion. You can never truly forget the sheer mass of the earth pressing on top of you. Millions of tons of rock floating right above your fragile skull. The air, though technically breathable, feels terribly thick, heavy with the collective breath, sweat, and intense anxiety of 20,000 trapped souls. The psychological phenomenon known as cave madness was a real threat. People experiencing intense hallucinations in the dark, their minds fabricating shapes and sounds out of the total sensory deprivation. To counteract the crushing despair and madness, they turned to absolute faith. Carved deep into the lowest levels, far from the reach of violent non-believers, are magnificent, vast cruciform churches, massive pillars, soaring arches, and intricate altars, all carved violently from single, unbroken pieces of stone. In the dim light, the Orthodox priests chant their ancient prayers. The beautiful, haunting, echoing melodies flow through the labyrinthian tunnels like a ghostly river. It is a desperate plea to a God sitting somewhere far beyond the rock, beyond the sky they can no